Okay, it's working. Good evening, YouTube. Welcome to the BPM Lifestyle System. Today I'm going to talk to you about why the BPM Lifestyle exists and what you need to know to improve the quality of your life. Before your brain is developed, before you even have a face or a body, your heart starts beating at 22 days after conception. And that BPM, that heart BPM, continues for your entire life, every single day until it stops. And that's the end of your life. Your life literally depends on your BPM being maintained as long as possible. And we've done a lot of work in society to improve the life expectancy of people. We're now living into 70s, whereas before we used to have life expectancy in our 30s and 40s. And we've done that through science. And yet we still have people online who are saying that we need to live like cavemen and copy what cavemen did. But cavemen died when they were in their 30s and 40s. I am 45 and I'd like to keep my BPM going a little bit longer. I don't want to die now. I'm quite happy with my life. I want to maintain my heart's BPM. And in order to do that, you have to understand the fundamental parts of biology, the fundamental parts of the environment and the place that we live on Earth. And all the systems that are needed for you to exist must stay in balance. This is a fundamental law of the universe. Balance is the key of all of the universal parts. We've got from the atoms up to molecules to star systems, everything relies on a balance of forces, a balance of chemicals, a balance of energies, a balance of something. All things come down to balance at the base of reality, especially when you talk about chemistry. So the BPM Lifestyle System teaches you how to naturally restore balance to what your cells evolved to be able to do. And the BPM Lifestyle is an easier roadmap to understand the science without being a scientist. Because I know it's complicated. I know that science is hard for people to understand because of the language that we use to describe chemistry and physics, all the equations. It's overwhelming for too many people. They don't understand what we're talking about. And because they don't understand it, they think it's like magic. If you took an iPhone back 100 years, they'd burn you as a witch because this crazy technology just blows their mind. But when we normalize our technologies, it's not weird to us anymore to be able to talk to someone on the other side of the planet instantaneously through the internet, through our phones, through computers. This is normal for us now. But what's normal is not what's optimal for our biology, because our biology doesn't evolve as fast as our technology. And now we're pushing our biological systems to the brink of extinction. Our natural biological systems of Earth, we've eliminated 86% of wildlife. 86% of animals have been killed by us. That's nearly all of them. And then they're going to come back if we just keep killing them. And we're doing the same to ourselves now. And if you want to continue to push your own body to its limit, eventually it will break. That's a fact. So if you want to try to maintain your BPM, your heart BPM, as long as possible, you have to give your body what it needs. And I know that's hard because no one ever taught you. What do you need to live? No one's ever told you that. I doubt it. Because no one ever taught me. I had to figure it all out on my own. I had to study in top universities in the world to learn this stuff because I needed to know how the universe works. And if I know how the universe works, then I can try to adapt my lifestyle to better meet my biological needs. And if I better meet my biological needs, then my symptoms of disease can be reduced because no doctors helped me when I needed them. and I had to figure it out all on my own. And I don't want you to have to figure it out on your own. You have a heart, and it will beat as long as it can with what you give it. And what is a heartbeat? What's the point of a heartbeat? It's a pressure wave that goes through your body to cause your blood cells to bash into a membrane. And when your blood cells bash into a membrane, they exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide and other components that are dissolved in your blood. When they crash against the membrane, they will transfer their molecules across that membrane into the cells. This is how all of your cells live. They live because there's a little pressure wave pushing molecules into the cell so the cell can use those molecules to exist. It's needing thousands and thousands of different molecules all the time. Every second of every day, you're producing millions and millions of molecules in every single cell. And billions and billions of reactions are happening in every cell every second. And you've got 30 trillion cells. And the only way to get the nutrients to that cell is by an amazing network of blood vessels that goes right through your body. From 22 days old, your embryo doesn't even look human yet. It's just a blob. But that blob is starting to develop a heart. Your heart develops before your brain. Because your heart is so important, because your heart is the pump that delivers all the nutrients to every cell of your body. And if there's any disruption at all in that system, every other system fails. Your liver is there to filter out toxins and produce chemicals that you need for life. But if it doesn't have a blood flow from your heart, it can't do anything. Same with your lungs. Your lungs can't take in oxygen and exchange carbon dioxide if there's no blood there to do it. So your heart is fundamental to everything in your life. And people treat their bodies like a trash can, and we're now having people having heart attacks in their 30s and 40s when we should be living into easily our 80s and 90s before we start getting these chronic illnesses. But they're happening in our 30s and 40s, and they've started way before that in our teens and 20s, because people are not taking care of their biological needs. Your heart pumps at rest maybe 60 times a second, one beat every second. So every single heartbeat extends your life by 1 second. Or if you're running, maybe your heart rate is higher than that and it's running at 2 or 2.5 beats per second. But it will keep going. And the second it stops beating, that's it. It's game over for you. And 18 million people a year have a heart attack. It's the number one killer of humans is heart disease. Why? Because we eat absolute trash. Simple fact. And your body can't cope with that for long. It can deal with it for a short period of time. But over extended periods of time, the more you put in your body that your body doesn't need, and the less of the nutrients you put in that you do need, pushes your biochemical balance out of alignment. And if you do that temporarily, your body will adapt. If you do that over a long period of time, symptoms start to develop. You may notice these symptoms, but a lot of the symptoms are invisible. You don't even know that heart disease is building up in you because you can't feel it. You can't feel what's happening inside your heart and inside your veins and inside your arteries. You can't feel anything because you don't have the sensory capacity to do that. Your brain's not designed to look for these things. It's designed to search the external environment for danger, not the internal environment of the inside of your blood vessels, because it doesn't expect there to be all these toxins in the first place. So you're slowly damaging yourself over decades and decades and decades, and eventually you reach a point where there's too much damage, and then you get a catastrophic event called a heart attack, where your blood vessels in your heart get blocked by atherosclerosis or a blood clot, and part of the heart muscle is now starved of oxygen. And now no oxygen getting there, there's no reaction to make ATP, there's no way for the heart muscle to then contract. And if the heart muscle can't contract, it can't pump blood round, and all the other cells in your body and your brain will die. And the last thing a doctor checks on you to declare whether you're alive or dead is your heartbeat. At the end, your BPM is gone. That's it. You're gone. So if you want to maintain your heart's BPM as long as possible, you have to take care of it. I know that's hard to do. A lot of people, they don't take care of their body because they've never been taught what to do. And all the people that are there to supposedly help you, i.e. doctors and other healthcare professionals, they don't always. Some do, some don't. I'm not saying all doctors don't care about your lifestyle, but if you don't care about your lifestyle, then you're not going to be able to reverse any damage. And the number one thing to do to stop a heart attack is to prevent it from happening in the first place, rather than react after you've had it, because in a large number of cases, the first heart attack is your first sign of heart disease, and your first time is when you die. Some people are lucky and they survive their first heart attack, but they've got some damage. And depending on how much damage there is it possible to recover? Is it possible to do a stent or a bypass or some other kind of therapy that can give the heart a little bit longer? But if you want to avoid your first heart attack, you have to start now. You have to start now to take care of your basic needs. And all life on Earth, all life that we know of in the universe, that we currently know of in biology, we don't have proof of other planets, but this probably is the same on other planets, but in a slightly different way. You have 3 components to life. You have the biochemistry of the cell, you have the environment that cell is in, the physical environment, and you have the mental realm, or the quantum vibrational realm. It's the frequency domain. You have solid matter and you have frequency. You have light. Light is a frequency. Light is not a physical thing. It's an energy field. We live in an electromagnetic field. We also live in an environmental field. So we have the physical objects, the physical environment, the things that you can touch, you can see, you can interact with. But you also have the mental side of things, your thoughts, and the electromagnetic spectrum, the Wi-Fi that surrounds you right now, all of the TV channels, all the hundreds and hundreds of satellite channels, all of them are broadcasting simultaneously, all right now. But you can't see any of them. All you can do is have a device which will tune in to one specific frequency, and it will translate that code into something that you can understand, i.e. video or sound. But all of these environments matter because your biochemistry reacts to these 2 environments. It reacts to the physical environment, but it also reacts to the electromagnetic environment. Your body is like a big battery. It's got energy flowing through it constantly, creating an electromagnetic field that surrounds you, goes out multiple meters from your body. The center of that magnetic field is your heart. It generates 50 times more electromagnetic power than your brain. And the brain and heart are constantly communicating to keep you alive. Every second of every day, there's feedback going from heart to brain, heart to brain, heart to brain, all the time to monitor your environment and to adjust your heart rate to match the needs of where you are right now. So you can see, if you go back to pre-industrial times where people lived in small tribes, in natural environments, your biggest threats are going to be wild animals. So you see a tiger come chase you, and your brain registers, big danger, tiger's going to eat me. It then sends a signal to your heart to beat faster, to pump blood faster to all of your external parts of your body or your muscles, so you can run the fuck away because you don't want to get eaten by the tiger. So your brain says, right, change state, go into fight or flight mode. Your brain sends out all these chemical signals into your body, and your heart rate increases, the blood flow to your muscles increases, the blood flow to your digestion decreases, and you're prepped for fight or run, or in some cases freeze or fawn, or there's various other reactions to trauma. But the external environment changes your biochemistry. This is the whole mechanism. Something happens in your environment that changes your internal chemistry. Same thing happens with your thoughts. Something in your thoughts, you could be sitting in a room alone in the pitch black darkness with no sensory input whatsoever. But you can think a bad thought, you can think of something horrible from your past, or you can imagine something horrible in the future, and you can generate changes in your physical state by thinking of things that are dangerous, scary, or depressing, or whatever you're going to think about. Your brain will then change its biochemistry, releasing chemicals into your body, which then change your body's state as well. So your biochemical state is changed by your environment and your thoughts. But when you have an illness and you go to a doctor and you say to the doctor, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling anxious, or whatever this feeling is inside you, they give you a drug. They might give you an antidepressant, for example. Maybe they give you an SSRI. And this is not medical advice. This is I'm just stating some facts here. That I'm not diagnosing or treating any illnesses. This is just chemistry that I'm talking about. So you say you're feeling depressed. By giving you a pill, all they're doing is manipulating your biochemistry. They're not actually changing why you're having that thought in the first place. Why are you having these thoughts? These thoughts aren't generated by your brain. They're generated and received by your brain. Thoughts exist in there's like a Wi-Fi of thoughts, and you can tune in to different thought fields. And as you do, those thought fields change your internal chemistry. And when you're feeling something in your body from that's a transmutation of energy into chemistry. That's what you are. You're a transformer. Transformers, robots in disguise. We're not robots in disguise. We're humans, but we work as a frequency translator from the quantum realm into the physical realm. And that's what your brain is doing. It's changing thoughts into physical sensations, chemical reactions that change your behavior and cause you to do something in your environment. So I have a thought, I want a cup of tea. Nothing will change and make a cup of tea appear in front of me unless chemical changes happen in my brain that activate the motor cortex and drive my legs to make me walk to the kitchen, and drive my arms to fill the kettle, make the tea, put the tea bag in the pot, to put the sugar in the cup, put the milk in the cup, make the tea, stir the tea. All these are patterns that my brain has learned how to do in order to get a cup of tea. But these programs are not pre-installed. They're installed by your parents, they're installed by your environment, your teachers at school, and your family and your friends, and wherever you interact with as a child. All of these things are programmed into you when you're a child. And you have no control over that programming. It's what your parents decided your life was going to be. Wherever you were in the world, I was born in London, someone born in the middle of Africa is going to have a completely different experience of life to me. It doesn't mean that my experience of life is better or worse, or theirs is better or worse. They're just different. But the problem is, you learn from your parents, who learned from their parents, who learned from their parents, who learned from their parents, and we pass on this knowledge down the chain to you. But there's no fact checking of who gave you that information, and is that information correct? Is that how your body works? Probably not. Because most people are not scientists, they're not chemists and biologists. They don't understand the human body. They just do what they were programmed to do when they were a kid. And it's not your fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way it is, that your life is a result of the programming that you've had up until right this moment that you're watching this video. And if you want your life to continue the same path that you're on now and to end up the same place that you were heading anyway, then you don't need to do anything. I have a very horrible family history of chronic illness, and I have an incurable chronic illness. I don't want to be sick. I want to do everything that I can to live the best quality of life with the genetics that I have. And in order to do that, I have to take care of my cellular biological chemistry as well as I can with the resources that I have. And that's not easy to do for everyone. And I'm not saying that this is going to be easy. That's why it's a coaching program that I have called BPM Lifestyle, where I will help you make the changes needed, because no one taught you how to do it. You're just expected to figure it out on your own. But unless you actually study chemistry and biology, you don't know. So I'm going to try and be like a translator of all of this science language that most people don't understand, and translate it into something that more people can understand. And the fundamental part of this system, the biochemical, physical, and mental system, is that between these three areas, energy flows. Energy flows from the environment into my biochemistry through my sensory nervous system. For example, I take my hand, I touch the table, I know there's something there because I feel a resistance on my fingertips. My fingertips tell me something is in front of me, and that something is hard. And when I hit it hard, it makes a vibration that my ear can detect. So I know that something is here. So my eyes then look at this thing and say, okay, there's a black something in front of you, a black lump of matter. But your brain is basically building a little internal hologram of what your sensory information is sending to your brain. So the combination of what your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and your skin send into your brain is then constructing its own 3D version of reality. But that 3D version of reality is unique for you. Only you experience your version of reality. All you can do is describe that to somebody else. But that world that you exist in is only yours. I can never go into your world, and you can never go into my world. We have two parallel expressions of Earth. Your world and my world, although we exist side by side, we're not the same. Your frequency is not the same as my frequency. I can never be in the same time and space as you. I can be next to you. We can send energy between us. I can send energy to you. You can send energy to me, and we can communicate. But I can never be you, and you can never be me. But the energy flow is what's important. And this energy flows from the thought realm, the quantum realm, the electromagnetic realm. It's detected by your brain. Your brain is like a radio receiver. It receives thoughts, translates them into biochemistry for your body to be animated and to move through your world that you've created. But in our modern society, that energy balance is skewed. We're not living the way that our cells were designed to live. Whether you believe in God or evolution, it doesn't matter whether you're religious or whether you're not religious or whether you believe in evolution or not, you're made of cells. There is no way that you can say you're not made of cells, because that's just a fact of chemistry and biology. You are cells. Those cells have needs, very specific needs. They need water, they need oxygen, they need fatty acids, they need amino acids, they need vitamins, they need minerals, and they need a whole bunch of other random chemicals that you could never list in a million years, because we don't know all of them yet. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of different molecules in every single cell that all need to work in absolute perfect harmony for you to exist. But we push our bodies way, way far beyond what we're biologically designed to do. Everything that you consume is man-made, whether that be food, drugs, or digital information. Our environments are mostly man-made, unless you live somewhere like I live, where I'm in the middle of nowhere. I've got trees and fields surrounding me as far as I can see in the distance. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I love it here. But most people live in cities. The whole city is designed by humans. The food system is designed by humans, and the electromagnetic spectrum frequency that you are in is manipulated by humans. So all of the three parts of the system, your biochemistry, your physical environment, and your mental environment, are all now man-made. And as intelligent as we are, we're not more intelligent than God or nature, whichever name you want to put on it. You are not more intelligent than God or nature. I don't care how good you are as a scientist. I don't care what amazing thing you've designed, this new drug you design, or this new molecule you've designed, or whatever you've designed. Some of these things may be beneficial for humanity. Other things are not beneficial for humanity. But the average person in the street has no idea what they're doing to themselves. They don't have any clue what they're putting in their mouth and swallowing. We're the only species that do this. Every other species lives in perfect balance with their biochemistry, their environment, and their electromagnetic mental state. All animals, except humans, live in biochemical, physical, mental balance. If at any point that balance shifts out of alignment, that organism will die. That ecosystem will die. If, for example, the coral reefs, if a small change in acidity or a small change in temperature, very, very small range changes in temperature and acidity can completely wipe out all the species in the coral reef. Look at what's happening in the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. It's just devastating, just complete extinction of thousands and thousands of species by microscopic changes in biochemistry. Microscopic changes, barely detectable by most people's senses, but the cellular level, the animals, the corals, and the small plankton and all the other little tiny creatures that depend on the chemical environment being safe for them, they die because it's no longer an environment that can support their biochemistry. It's just such a fragile ecosystem. It's so easy to break, and yet we break it every day. Every meal, every minute of every day, we live in artificial environments, and we don't give our body what it actually needs in order for it to live in a healthy way. And as a result of this, we have 2 billion people with chronic illness. 2 billion people are suffering with chronic illnesses that at least half could be either completely eliminated or severely reduced in number of people suffering. This is crazy that with all the technology we have, we're getting worse. But more and more people are suffering because we keep changing the wrong thing. It's not going to matter how many new pills you keep throwing down your neck if you don't address why that system is out of balance in the first place. Not every single system can be restored by natural balance, but a lot of it can. And the BPM Lifestyle System, the whole course that I teach, is designed to guide you step by step on small changes that you can make to your daily habits that can better support your biological needs. You have biochemical needs. If you don't meet them, you will get sick. You have environmental, physical needs. If you don't meet them, you eventually will get sick. And you have electromagnetic frequency and mental needs. And if you don't meet them, you will get sick. This is the root of all disease. Every single disease results as an imbalance of your biochemical, physical, mental system. This happens in all animals that we know of. I'm going to specifically focus more on mammals because that's what humans are. Humans are mammals, and all mammals have a heart. All mammals have a BPM. The size of the animal, the bigger it is, the slower their natural BPM is. The smaller the animal, the faster their BPM is. A mouse can have a BPM of maybe 500 beats a minute, whereas a blue whale may have a heartbeat of 30 beats a minute. My resting heartbeat is about 50 beats a minute. The average human resting heart rate's about 60, some 60, 70. Everyone has a BPM. Every single mammal on Earth has a BPM. And that BPM will end when their biochemical, physical, mental system is imbalanced long enough to cause a critical break in their system. And that results in death. So the longer you can maintain biochemical, physical, mental balance, the more chance you have of living a longer, happier, healthier life. And the longer you live, the happier you are, the more you can share that happiness and joy and with everybody around you and lift them up too. BPM Lifestyle isn't an elitist club. Sorry. It's not an elitist club for the rich. It's for every human on Earth, every animal on Earth. Everyone can benefit from this. And it's just very, really, really basic. It's so simple. I've made it as simple as I possibly can. It's 21 principles that you don't have to implement all of them, but the more you can implement into your daily routine, the better your chances will be of maintaining your BPM as long as you can. So BPM is your beats per minute of your heart that will continue as long as you look after yourself. But a lot of people don't look after themselves. They don't eat the right food. They don't drink the right things. They don't do the right things to take care of themselves. And they get sick. Some people are born with a genetic condition like me, but that doesn't mean that you can't still improve the quality of your life. Just because I can't fix the gene that's wonky in my system doesn't mean that I can't still support the rest of my system with what it needs to live. So if you want to learn more about this, I can't explain the entire system in one video, but go to bpmlifestyle.com, download the free ebook, learn what the 21 principles are. It tells you what they are, how to do it, why to do it, what benefit it's going to give you. And if you implement these changes, you will help your BPM system to be more aligned with what your biology needs. This is something that you need to do every day, because every single day, every single microsecond, the chemistry inside your body is working to keep you alive. And the more you push it out of its alignment with food, with drugs, with excessive stimulation, with all these other things that we do to ourselves that are unnatural, we are shifting our biochemistry in the wrong direction. But it doesn't take much to push it back the other way, back to alignment. Few minutes a day can help undo some of the damage you're doing to yourself. It's just a few minutes. It doesn't have to be a massive big deal. You don't need to go to the gym for 4 hours and stuff. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here of different procedures that you can do, simple behavioral patterns that will give your body what it needs in order to survive. For example, the simplest one, the most essential one that is so shamed by society for some reason, I don't understand why, is walking barefoot outside. You're an animal. As much as you don't want to be an animal, you are one. You're a mammal. And all mammals on Earth exist in nature except humans, because we've built our own environments. But our environments are not designed around our biological needs. They're designed about our desires, our desire for comfort, our desire for stimulation, our desire for warmth, and our desire for protection, all these other things. But they don't support our biochemical needs. And all other animals live out in nature. They are connected to the earth permanently. They're naked outside all the time. They are never disconnected from their mother. The earth is your mother. You're born from the earth and you'll go back to the earth. There's nothing you can do about that. That's the cycle of life. Life assembles from earth, it returns to earth. in an endless cycle. All animals go through the same cycle of birth and death and rebirth and death and rebirth and death. It happens infinite times over and over and over and over again in a cycle, because all natural systems follow cycles, patterns, systems. Everything follows rules of nature. So one of the simplest things that you can do to take care of your biochemistry is to go outside barefoot and walk on the grass. It's not going to kill you, I promise. It's not going to hurt. You're not going to all of a sudden get some crazy disease from the grass. It's not. I don't understand why it's so, oh my God, no, barefoot in the grass, I'm going to die. Relax, breathe. You're not going to die going outside barefoot on the grass, okay? Or on the beach, in the water, in a river, in some mud, somewhere outside. Touch the earth. Why? Because of electrons. Chemistry is all about the transfer of electrons from one molecule to another. And then in some cases, those molecules, they will join together and share electrons in a bond, what we call a covalent bond. You don't need to remember this, but you have an atom, you have another atom, like for example, oxygen. You have oxygen and oxygen. Oxygen come together and boom, they stick together because they form a double bond with the two electrons that are spare here, the two electrons are spare here, and they find each other and they're like, oh, right, let's stick together and let's be friends now. And all chemistry is about that relationship between the electric charge of each molecule. And when you are born connected to Earth, your natural state is a negatively charged state that is balanced to the Earth. But the air around you is positively charged because we live on a planet that has a solid base, an atmosphere, and a sun that's blasting you with radiation 24/7. And the radiation hits the atmosphere and it knocks electrons off the molecules that live in the outer atmosphere. And that creates a positively charged ionosphere around the Earth. And then we have lightning that goes between the ground and the sky to rebalance that electric charge all around the planet. Thousands of lightning bolts happening every day. You do not want to be in this positive electronic state. It's not how your body's designed to be. And when you are in this positive state, everything in your body becomes shifted in some way that's unnatural. For example, your blood cells. You've got red blood cells and you have white blood cells. The red blood cells are what carry the oxygen. The white blood cells are your immune system. And you've got other components in your blood like platelets and plasma and various other components in order for it to transfer food and waste around your body in order for you to exist. But your red blood cells, they need to be able to flow freely through your capillaries. Your blood system starts with big pipes, splits into smaller pipes, smaller pipes, smaller pipes, smaller pipes, until eventually in your fingertips and in all of your organs, it's down to capillaries, which are really, really, really tiny pipes where it's almost single file cells going through them. And this means that if there's any risk of these cells blocking together, clumping together, sticking together, they can block that pipe. That's what a heart attack is. When that happens in your heart, the pipe is blocked in your heart. That's what a heart attack is. Scared or what? But most people don't do it. They don't go barefoot in nature every day. This is not something you could just do once a year. It's something you need to do multiple times a day. I don't wear shoes at all. Every time I go outside, I'm barefoot outside. And as a result of that, my body is in a more optimized state than it is when I don't do that. And it's free and available to anyone. I don't see why people don't do it. If you have a heart, which all mammals do, you need to take care of your blood vessels and your system that makes your entire existence possible. It's so simple and it's completely free. Just do it. Just do it. It's not going to hurt. I promise you. It's just grass. It's not like you're walking on broken glass. I can walk on glass now because my feet are strong, but it takes a bit of training. But you need to be able to balance your electric system because you're like a battery. That you're no different to a robot in terms of, a robot is a silicon-based intelligent life form now, but you're an organic carbon-based intelligent life form. You're basically like a liquid crystal, whereas a computer is a solid silicon crystal. You're crystals with carbon chains. You're still a computer. They see each other and they go, oh, well, I want 2 electrons and you've got 1, I've got 1. So they bond together and they share those 2 electrons between the 2 protons and they form what's called a covalent bond. They share it between the 2 of them. In something like salt, sodium chloride, you have a sodium plus ion and a chloride minus ion. The chloride minus ion is because it's taken this spare electron from the outer shell of the sodium and it's taken it for the chlorine. So the chlorine is now negatively charged and the sodium is positively charged. And if that's in a liquid, in you, then the ions separate and you have a chlorine minus ion and you have a sodium plus ion. And they flow around inside your body and they're used for all sorts of different processes. So, for example, sodium is extremely important for nerve function. If you don't have sodium, your nerves can't communicate. So you can't send any messages around your body. It's just one of the jobs of sodium, but there's many other really important things about how to maintain the pressure inside a cell and various other functions. Sodium is absolutely fundamental to your existence. Chlorine is how you make hydrochloric acid. Does a snail understand chemistry? Does a bird understand chemistry? Does an elephant understand chemistry? No. No animal needs to understand anything about nutrition. They automatically know what to eat. Now, how can we not know? Humans don't know what to eat, but all animal species on Earth know what to eat. Doesn't that sound a bit weird? We claim that we're the most intelligent species on Earth, and we don't know what food is. Because we've been programmed from birth by our parents and our society to be told what food is. We have governments that say, oh, these are the government guidelines of what to eat. Why do we need government guidelines on what's food and what isn't food? So let me break it down to one really basic rule that's hopefully easy for every human to understand as long as you speak English. If you don't speak English, then maybe one day I'll have an AI avatar that can speak all languages, but that's the future. Right now I speak English. You're made of cells, and if you eat cells, you get everything you need. The cells of life are more or less made of the same things. All cells are alive because they all have similar types of biochemistry. They contain the same molecules for life. So, for example, let's talk about apples. Because apples grow everywhere where I live, I can walk up to a tree, I can go take the apple directly off the tree, right there and then, and eat it. No tools required, no cooking required, no preparation required. I walk up to the tree, I pick it, I chew it, it goes into my stomach, the cells get broken down into their components, my body absorbs those components and uses those components to rebuild my cells with their own code. You need to basically take another type of cell, break it down into its components, and then rebuild it into your type of cell. That's it. That's all it is. That's all life runs on this system. Plants make a cell, they grow, and they grow this thing called a fruit. And animals, all different types of animals, not just humans, but an animal will go and eat that apple, and it will turn that apple cells into its own cells. But humans, we don't eat cells anymore. Some of what we eat is cells, but what we often eat is something that's been so processed by the chemical companies and food companies that by the time it gets to your mouth, there's no cells left. The cells have been bashed up, they've been extracted, they've been processed in multiple different ways, they've been heated, they've been exposed to solvents and all kinds of processes. There's loads of different things that they do to this food to turn it into products. They do this because then these products have a longer shelf life, they make more money. The food companies want to make money. This is not a conspiracy theory, this is just a fact. Food companies are there because they want to sell you something and get money from you. That's it. They don't care about your health. They want to sell you a product. They want you to buy that product again, and they want you to keep buying that product for your whole life. But that product, if it no longer contains any cells, is not nutrition. It's more like flavored energy. In a chocolate bar, I love chocolate. I eat chocolate quite a lot. I like bags of sweets. But there's no cells in there anymore. It's pure energy that's made nice with flavoring. That's it. There's no components of a cell. And if you want to repair a broken cell, or you want to divide and create a new cell, you need all of the components of a cell. And sugar is not a component of building a cell. It's an energy source for the cell. And we're eating ridiculous amounts of sugar, 25 kilos per person per year. That's madness. The amount of oil that we consume. Oil is extracted from a plant, but they take all of the other components away and it's now just one component left, the oil. But when you mix oil plus sugar, your brain thinks, oh, yum, yum, energy. We might have a famine soon. Let's store all of this energy in our fat cells because later we might have a famine. We might not be able to find food for 3 months and we're going to have this backup. So what you're eating is just energy now. There's no real food there anymore. So after you've eaten this thing, let's just use a burger, for example. You're eating a burger, no brands mentioned, but you've got basically bread, which is generally in fast food, highly processed white flour with a few extra chemicals in to make it more stable and change its shape and blah, blah, blah. It's not made of cells anymore. Maybe the original wheat came from a cell, but by the time it reaches your mouth, there's no cells left. Okay, you may be lucky and you might get a little bit of salad in your burger and you'll get some animal cells that are mashed up into a patty. An animal cell is still a cell, it's still a complete cell, but it's the wrong type of cell for you because your biochemistry is not designed to eat meat. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. You're not designed to eat it. We've learned how to eat meat and not immediately die because we learned how to cook it and process it to kill the bacteria that would kill us otherwise. We've learned tools so that we can actually kill the animal because our teeth can't kill an animal, but we had to invent some weapons. We invented traps, we invent weapons, we invent machinery to process the animal. We then have to invent more machinery to cook this product to make it safe to eat. And then we eat it. But by the time it goes into us, it's been deep fried, it's been processed, it's been heated to insane temperatures, which cause it to be carcinogenic. We've got all these processes that we're doing to the food to make it possible to eat. But with a fruit, you just eat the fruit straight off the tree. No processing required. I can pick a carrot directly out of the ground. Maybe I'm going to wash the mud off it and then I can just eat it. I don't have to do anything to it. But in order to eat meat, you have to process it. You cannot eat a cow raw. It will probably kick you and kill you if you run up to it and try and bite its neck. It's not going to let you do it. You're going to have to build a weapon. So first you're going to have to get some rocks. You're going to have to find some iron ore. You're going to have to find some charcoal. And you're going to have to react that at 2000 degrees to make some metal. Then you're going to have to form that metal into a shape. Then you're going to have to sharpen it with some other tools to make it sharp enough to cut the cow's head off. Then you're going to have to make more tools to then chop it up and process it to something that you can cook. And then you eat it. There's too many things involved between original source and when it gets into your body. So the closer that you can get to the source of the energy, the source of the cells in their complete original form, the better it is for your body's biochemistry. I'm not here to tell you what to eat. You can eat whatever you want. I don't care. Like, if you want to kill yourself with food, that's your choice. But if you don't want to do that and you want some help and you want a little bit of guidance on how to make slightly better changes step by step to gradually increase the amount of good nutrition that you're consuming compared to the things that are not beneficial for your health, there are pleasure benefits to chocolate. I love chocolate. I eat chocolate all the time. But you have to limit how much energy you're consuming without nutrition. You have to. Otherwise, you will be sick. This is the main problem in society, is we don't eat the right food for our biology. And all the result is obvious. Look at it. Look around you. How many people that you know have cancer, heart disease, dementia, diabetes, high blood pressure, all these other conditions, all the mental health conditions, depression, the anxiety, the PTSD, all this other stuff is all caused by imbalance in what our natural systems are designed to do. And I don't want to see people suffering. I want to see everyone happy and vital, having amazing life. Like, get up and do what you want to do and make the world a better place. Isn't that what everyone wants to do? They want to live a life of joy and happiness and being inspired to actually want to be here. Isn't that better than being miserable and depressed and sick and not wanting to be here anymore? Surely that's the goal of all people, is to be happy and healthy. I'm sure people don't want to be depressed and sick. Maybe there are some people that want to be depressed and sick, but most people who are depressed and sick don't want to continue to be that way. They want a way out, but they're never given the option of opening the door because no one teaches them. No one taught me how to lose weight. When I was 100 kilos, being 100 kilos was horrible. I don't know how anyone can be that overweight and so what? I don't care. It was horrible for me. My body didn't work. The abuse from my environment, from all the people, was terrible. So I didn't want to stay like that, but I didn't have the internet back then. I had to read books, had to go to the library. You remember that amazing place with all the books? People probably don't never go there anymore, but I went to the library. I had to get books on physiology, on chemistry, on biology, and nutrition and fitness, and all this. I had to learn it myself, and I lost 35 kilos from two simple things. I walked more. I couldn't do any sports, but I could walk, so I walked as much as I could, 3 miles a day. I bounced on a trampoline because I couldn't do any impact stuff. I couldn't play sports, so bouncing on a trampoline meant that I could get some cardio without straining my joints too much because I was too heavy to do any sports. I couldn't do it. It was dangerous. So a bit of walking, a little bit of bouncing, two of the principles of BPM Lifestyle, and restricting the amount of calories that I put in my mouth, and I lost 35 kilos. No injections, no pills, no surgeries, no cutting my stomach out. Just two things. And people get really upset when you say, eat the right food and move more. They get really, really triggered by that. Well, I'm sorry that the truth is triggering. But that is a fundamental law of thermodynamics, that if you eat more energy than you need, you gain weight. If you burn more energy than you eat, you will lose weight. That's a fact. You cannot eat zero, you cannot eat nothing and gain weight. It's not possible. If you want to prove that it's possible, then set up an experiment, show that you can gain weight by eating nothing. You can't. And if you believe you can, that's perhaps a mental health problem that you may want to investigate a little bit, because you cannot gain fat from air. You are not a plant. You don't photosynthesize. You have to put it in your mouth. It has to be digested and has to be absorbed into your blood. It's what you absorb into your blood that matters, not what you put in your mouth. The most important part is what actually gets into your blood. So what you want to do is put things in your mouth that are made of cells. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, leaves, all these things are all made of cells. Or if you eat animals, then eat lean, not the fatty part of the meat, but the leanest meat that you can get, because saturated fat causes heart disease. And I'm not going to get into some massive debate about this. We have countless studies. This is ridiculous that people still think that eating meat doesn't cause all the problems it does, when we have literally thousands of studies that show that saturated fat and cholesterol and eating meat lowers your life expectancy. Right, that's just a fact of life. Just look around you. Look at the people that are dying in hospital and ask them what they eat. And virtually none of them are going to be vegan. Promise you. Go and interview everyone. Say, what do you eat? Most of it are going to be a processed food, meat and dairy. Because that's what everyone eats. The vast majority, at least 95% of the world eat that. And as a result, we've got 2 billion people sick. You do the math. Doesn't add up to me. Does it? And the fact that we've got studies that show that people that eat a whole food plant-based diet have the best results in all-cause mortality, surely that should say you something. And this is not some vegan propaganda. This is just science. It's not that hard. I know they're difficult to understand when you read a study because they use complicated language. But we have AI now, so you can take a study, you can get AI to summarize it in layperson language. So you don't have to understand the scientific terms in as much detail as you needed to before, because AI can help you understand things better. I wouldn't use it as a raw source of information, but to help you process information, it's great. So all you got to do is read some studies and actually listen to some people that are trying to help you. I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I'm not trying to sell you the latest, greatest supplement, or the latest, greatest medication, the latest, greatest health hack, the next biohack, the next peptide injection, the next device, all these products trying to solve all these problems that wouldn't exist if you actually take care of your biochemistry in the first place. So just the two things that I've talked about, just walking barefoot outside and eating real cells, just those two things alone will change your life. If you also do the other 19 principles of the BPM lifestyle, which we're not going to talk about all of them in this video, but they're all free. They're all easy to do for every person on earth. And if everybody did it, we could reduce the chronic illness rate by at least 50%. Isn't that good? Isn't that a good thing? That your mum and dad don't die early, that your children don't die early, that your family and friends don't die earlier than they need to. I don't want to see my friends and family dying in their 30s, 40s and 50s. We should be living to our 70s, 80s and 90s easily. But some people don't even get to 65. They don't even get to enjoy their retirement. My friend died at 37 from a stroke. Blood clot in his brain, bam, gone. Whether that was caused by recent events in 2020 or not, we don't know. But he was 37. I'm 45. My grandfather died at 48 from a heart attack. I don't want to go that same way at that young age. I want to live, as long as I'm happy and healthy, I'm happy to stay as long as I want. But in order to do that, I must balance my BPM system. But no doctor's ever given me any of this advice. No one, except for a very few health coaches that I've been to, more of the holistic type of healers rather than drug dealers, basically. I go to the doctor, they give you a drug. That's it. They give you a drug. That's what their job is. They're designed to prescribe you a pill. Maybe they'll cut you open, or maybe they'll blast you with some radiation. But their solutions are pills, surgery, radiation. That's it. They don't care about your lifestyle. They don't have the time to investigate your environment. They don't have the time to spend talking to you for hours about your mental state and about your environment and about all the things that have happened to you in your life and the food you eat and all these other things. They've got 10 minutes to, oh, you've got this pain and this symptom. All right, we'll give you this pill to manage this symptom. That's it. Then you're out the door and they don't do anything else. That's it. That's where you then have to look into alternatives like life coaching, because a life coach is there with you step by step on the journey, side by side, helping you every step of the way to make better decisions for yourself, better decisions for your family, better decisions for humanity. And that's what life coaching is. It's about being there with you to guide you on your journey from wherever you are right now, wherever your current choices have led you. And if you're not happy in that position, in that state, that health state, that mental state, or whatever you're in right now, if you're not happy where you are, there's a gap between where you are and where you dream to be. And if you've never been here, you've only ever been here, you don't know the way. And that's where a coach can help, because a coach, if you have me as your coach, then I can explain the science in more detail on a personal level for you. And I can guide you step by step on how to make better changes to your environment and your lifestyle to support your biochemistry in a better way than you do now. This is not about curing any diseases and things like that. It's about aligning your body with what it needs. And then through that alignment, symptoms will potentially be reduced. It depends on what the symptom is. It depends on the cause. It depends on so many factors. But if you're not addressing all the factors that influence disease, you're never going to heal. If you just pop a pill, that's not going to fix anything, unless you also try and fix the other things. But, most people wouldn't know where to start. I didn't know where to start. It took me 25 years to figure it all out. I want to save you that 25 years and give you all my information now so that you can make a better decision today and decide right now, I'm going to take better care of my life. I am going to do what's necessary for me to have a happy and healthy life. And as a result of that, maybe I will also increase my wealth as well. And after I've increased my health, my happiness, and my wealth, I can then help others also rise up from wherever they are. Because I'm one person, I can't raise up 8 billion people. I can try to reach 8 billion people through YouTube, but unless people share my videos and like and subscribe and comment, and other people then watch them and like them and know that I'm not here to hurt you, I'm just here trying to help you. But I can't do everything on my own without some support from people who want to actually change the world and themselves. But you can't change the world before you change yourself, because the external world is a reflection of the internal world. What's happening inside your mind is what you see in the world, because what you see is filtered through your belief system. This is another one of the principles, beliefs. You have to change what you believe is possible. You have to change what you've been taught to believe is true. Because not everything you believe is true. Because you've been lied to a lot by people who want your money. I also would like some money, but I'm not going to make someone pay for something they don't want. If you need help, I can help you. But if you can't afford to pay someone for a full-on one-on-one coaching, which has to be financially worth it for me, you can join the BPM Lifestyle course, which will give you a step-by-step guide of how to integrate the principles, but it's not a one-on-one guided mission. It's not targeted to your specific state. Your specific needs are unique to you, whereas the system is designed for all humans. But we may need to tweak things a little bit. Maybe you have a disability and you can't do all of the things in the BPM lifestyle system as they are stated. You might have to modify them, and maybe you don't know how to modify them. That's where one-on-one coaching can be a little bit more useful for you. If you're dealing with a specific restriction, then I can help you get around that roadblock. Because when you look at the world in a more open way, you have infinite paths that you can take from now. You have, in your past, you've had choices that you've taken down one path or another path. And from your birth, all the decisions you made up from birth to now determine where you are right now. And if you're not happy there, that means the decisions that you've made have not been beneficial for your future. So you can now say, okay, well, I'm just going to give up, or I'm going to try to learn things that help my soul align with what I want better, so that I can make different choices in the now to benefit my future self. Not react to past self, but create your future intentionally. Instead of just reacting to what the world throws at you, you throw your creativity out into the world. This is what YouTube is. This is millions of people sharing their knowledge and their stories and try to entertain you and try to level up humanity. I prefer channels which are educational rather than purely entertainment. I've been in both fields of life. I've worked in the entertainment industry most of my life, but I would rather be in the educational field, because entertainment doesn't really change many lives. It does change some, but it's not the purpose of entertainment. Whereas education levels up everyone who takes part in education. But where do you get the education from? Most of the people that I see on social media lie. But most people can't tell that they're lying because they have no understanding of science. They don't know they're being lied to because their science education isn't good enough to be able to know whether something is true or false. So when I see someone online talking gibberish, it's easy for me to know they're talking gibberish. But for someone who has no scientific background, they're not going to know. So they may copy someone who sounds like they're trying to help you. But when you actually do what they say, you end up more sick than you were before. Or maybe you get some temporary relief, but in the long term, it's not going to be beneficial. The biggest scandal we've got to deal with right now is this crazy carnivore diet thing that's going all over social media. If you've been hooked into this, please understand your biochemistry. You are not a carnivore. You're not biochemically a carnivore. Please understand that. I don't care what you eat, but what you believe is important. If you believe that you're a lion, that is a delusion. You are not a lion. You're a human being. Okay? You're a human being. Your needs are human needs. Not lion needs, not shark needs, not gorilla needs, not elephant needs, not rabbit needs. You're a human, you have human needs. You need to understand what they are and meet those needs if you want to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. Everything comes from your health originally. If your health is terrible, it doesn't matter if you've got good mental health, because your health is ruined. It doesn't matter how much money you've got if you're dying of cancer. So your health is fundamental to all the other things in life working, all your relationships. Everything comes from your internal biochemistry working. And I would like you to have the best chance at having the best biochemical balance possible with the resources that you have available to you. Everyone has a different environment. Everyone has different food availability. Everyone has different preferences. But your cells don't care. Your cells need what they need. And all I'm trying to do is help you meet those needs in a better way than you do now, to improve your chances of not developing a chronic illness in the future. Or if you have a chronic illness now, to reduce the impact of those symptoms as much as you can with the resources you have. That's why the BPM Lifestyle System is all things that don't have any cost. Because a lot of people are broke right now. I'm broke. A lot of people I know are broke. Most people don't have thousands of dollars for the next greatest supplement or next greatest medication or whatever. Especially if you don't have insurance that covers these things, then you have to pay out of pocket. Well, of course they're going to take your money. They all want your money. Oh, you got this. Oh, sorry, you've got cancer. Oh dear. It's going to be $100,000, please, for a medicine that might help you. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll kill you faster. You don't know until you try it. But you have to pay them first. Give you $100,000, then you can try this medication that might help or not. Or you could actually take care of your needs, and if you've already got cancer, then do not stop treatment. Do the BPM lifestyle alongside with your doctor. Doctors should be following the system as well. All health people should be following the system because it's a system of all life forms. I'm not saying this to brag that I've invented this amazing system. This is just a natural system that I have observed. This is an observation of reality. This is not something that I've just made up. For all of medicine, since Hippocrates back in ancient Greece, 500 BC, so 2,500 years, we've had modern medicines. One of the basic principles that he talked about was, before you heal a man, ask him if he's willing to give up what's making him sick. This is one of the most fundamental things that modern doctors just ignore. They're not looking at what's making you sick. They're looking at the symptom you have and they're managing it. They're not trying to stop that symptom from being there. If you've got high blood sugar and you're diabetic, if you're type 2 diabetic, then they're going to give you medication to bring down your blood sugar. They're going to give you maybe metformin, or maybe they'll give you insulin, depending on how far along the line of becoming type 2 diabetic you are. You may be pre-diabetic, you may actually have type 2 diabetes, or you may have type 1 diabetes. But they're going to give you things to maintain your blood sugar at a normal level. And that's great, but that's not addressing why your blood sugar is not the right level in the first place. So what the BPM lifestyle does is it tries to address the baseline reasons for the imbalance in the first place. So you need less medication, you need less surgeries, you need less interventions, you need less of all these new age technologies and all this other stuff, because you're already taking care of your cellular biology. And it's not that hard, I promise. You don't need to be a multi-millionaire and be like Brian Johnson spending $2 million a year on trying not to die. If you've got millions to spend, then great, you can try all these exotic practices. But for the broke people, what do? Well, you follow the BPM lifestyle, and maybe you don't need to spend any money on all these other things, all these other products that they'll want your subscription money per month, for this next greatest supplement that's got everything you need in it. Well, why don't you get it from the original source, the cells of life, plants? That's all the biochemistry of life is built by plants, and then animals eat the plants. That's how all life works. When you look at bacteria, obviously the plants need bacteria. We have different systems for different types of life. You have bacteria, you have fungi, you have viruses, you have plants, you have animals. We have and the whole Earth ecosystem as a whole system. It's all systems of systems of systems. And the more you can support those systems with their original needs being met, then the chance of the system becoming unbalanced and disease happening is reduced. It's that simple. But you're not taught that when you go to the doctor with the pain or whatever you've got. They don't teach you how to manage your system. Never in my 45 years has a doctor given me any advice other than, here's a pill. That's it. Here's a pill. Okay, what next? Take the pill for a week and then what? Nothing changes. I'm chronically ill because I've got a genetic condition. No pill's going to fix that. So what do? Keep popping pills for the rest of my entire life? No, thank you. I don't want to be in that state. That was horrible. That first 34 years where I was having constant pills all the time for everything that was wrong with me. It was not a nice life. But then I started the BPM lifestyle properly, and I haven't had any medication since. 12 years that I've been pain-free, med-free. I never thought I'd ever have one pain-free day, let alone 12 years of a normal life. Why did I end up with 12 years of a normal life compared to my original 34 years of pain and suffering? Because I changed my lifestyle. You can change your lifestyle today. You can say, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do what I can with the resources I have to take the best care I can of my body. And that starts with one, learning what your body needs. That's what the BPM course is about. It teaches you what you need. It teaches you how to meet it, what to do, everything. It's all in. There's hundreds of videos teaching you everything step by step. Once you've learned these basic principles, then you apply the principle in your life. So, for example, the barefoot principle, 5 minutes in the morning, go outside barefoot, walk on some grass somewhere natural, and then before bed, again, walk out somewhere natural, and then go to bed. If you have the money to spend on a grounding sheet for your bed, then get one. If you don't have the money, don't get one. But it's not a scam. Grounding is one of the most critical things you can do for your body. But most people don't do it. So just do that. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, when you wake up and before you go to bed. That's it. And it will give your body a chance of getting rid of some of the free radical damage. It'll give your blood the chance to flow a little bit cleaner. It'll give your nervous system and mitochondria the electrons it needs to actually send messages and create energy. All these things happen with just this simple practice of walking barefoot outside. The simple practice of bouncing every day. Just 5 minutes. You don't have to have a trampoline, but if you have a joint problem like I do, then a trampoline can help with reduction of impact. But you need to shake your body a little bit to stimulate your lymph system. Your lymph system is your garbage disposal system. It's all the shit that comes out of your cells when they've metabolized what they need to do. There's waste products. The waste products go into your lymph system, but there's no pump for your lymph system. Your heart has a pump. Your digestive system pushes food through it, but there's no push pump for the lymph system. You have to be the pump by moving your muscles. So if you bounce, you shake your body, you basically are activating your garbage disposal system, and it cleans your body out a little bit better. Do that every day. Bounce 5 minutes. If you go outside barefoot and bounce on the grass for 5 minutes barefoot, then you include the bounce module and the barefoot module. If you also include breath work while you're doing that, then that's 3 modules. If you listen to music while you're bouncing and breathing and grounding, then that's 4 modules. If you go for a walk, that's 5 modules, all in one practice. This is not that complicated. You just have to do some few basic things. It's like a maintenance program. When you go and buy a car, you get a manual. The car has a manual, and maybe not in modern world, it's all online, but you used to get a book that you go through and it tell you how to look after the different systems in the car. Well, you are a set of different systems, and no one gave you a manual. They say, this is how you maintain this system, this is how you maintain this system, and this is how you maintain the overall system. No one told you that. No one gave you that map. No one gave you that instruction book. So I'm giving it to you now. It's called BPM Lifestyle, and the website is bpmlifestyle.com. And there'll be, at the moment, it's only 6 modules because I'm going to build it with a community. I want to build it for you, with you. So I need to know what you think of the way I teach and how I can teach better before I make all 21 modules. And if you want to learn more, then get the free ebook, join the free community, watch the rest of my YouTube videos, and if you have $100 to invest, then you can buy the course. I can't do it all for free because I've got bills to pay too. I'm not some multimillionaire who's trying to scam you out of money. I'm broke. But I want to lift you up as well, but I can't lift you up if I'm homeless. So if you can donate a small amount of money to help me build the course and keep it off social media, because I can't tell the truth on social media, I have to have it on an off-platform source if I want to say the actual truth. So there's costs to me to keep this course active. So it can't be free all the time for everyone forever. But I'm going to try and do as much as I can on YouTube within the limits of what I'm allowed to say. But I can't say everything here. And also, at any point, YouTube could close my account. YouTube could delete all my videos if they decided to block my account for some reason. So if it's off platform, I'm safe from that. That's why I have my own private domain and private hosting. But that costs money. So if you can help support the project, my goal in life is to save as many people as possible from dying from preventable disease. There's a big goal. Right now, we're losing 40 million people a year to preventable illness. People are going to die. You can't be immortal. But you can live longer and happier than you do now by looking after yourself. So anyway, it's a long enough video for today. It's an hour and a half nearly. So that's the origin of the BPM system. It applies to all life forms. Every single species on Earth follows the same BPM system. You're no different. And if you do not take care of your body the way it needs to be taken care of, then chronic illness is inevitable. That's just a fact. And if you would like to try and live a better life, you have to take better care of your body. And I will want to help you, but I can't do it for you. I can do it with you as in a coaching program, but I can't make you do anything. You have to want to change your life. And that's the hardest part, is to want to change. To be ready to change, to be ready to say, actually, I've had enough of living the way I live. This is not the way I want to be. And I want to make changes to my future. And if you want to do that, the BPM Lifestyle will help you. I guarantee it. So if you want to join, come and join. If you don't want to join, don't join. But please, don't complain if you get a chronic illness and you're not actually doing something to look after your body that's zero cost. I can understand if you can't afford something. If you can't afford to do something, then that's fine. A lot of people are struggling, but to not do it because you don't want to, that's not going to get you anywhere in life. And I want you to be happy and healthy and succeed in everything you dream of building. Because it's amazing when you live a life of joy and creation and excitement rather than pain and suffering and fear. It's a horrible place to be in that world where every day is struggle, every day is pain, every day is fear, every day is just miserable. Just a horrible place to be. And if you're there right now, it doesn't have to be that way. There are ways out of the darkness. I drew a map for you. I did it for you. I'm already out of the cave. I don't need to help anyone. But I want to help people. Because people need help and I can help them, so why not? Anyway, enough for today. If you watched all this video to the end, you're a legend. Like and share and subscribe and comment, and I'll be back again. I'm going to do this every Sunday. I do a live show every Sunday. That way, if people want to ask any questions in the chat, then they can. I don't know if anyone watched this stream. I can't see any stats on my system. So, okay, we're going to leave it there. Goodbye for now. See you live next Sunday and some other updates during the week. Goodbye.